We did get halfway through the conference, and when we were looking at the real-time feedback, and I said to Justin, "This is really a good idea."
That old issue of no audio. We've fixed that problem. So for our online viewers, there's 4 or 5 online, I think, right at the moment. We're just going through the Summarised Slido feedback that in the following themes. So this is the themes that we're just going through, and we've got to catering and refreshments. So any other comments about catering or refreshments?
I'd just like to volunteer to be on the organising committee next year to be the token person that drinks coffee on the committee, because clearly nobody understands about coffee. And Justin, I'm sure you've been to more conferences than me, so you probably know what people expect at a conference.
Coffee.
That's it. And while the coffee little bag things were not too bad, I'm sure we could probably do better. Yes.
Like there was one comment there that was.
I brought my own on the Saturday morning takeaway.
Okay.
Before I got there, because I hadn't read the memo to say there would be coffee in the morning, and I didn't. I'm like, well, I'm just getting one on the way.
And everyone went, "Where'd you get that from?"
Yes, I had to go and drink it outside and put it in the bin, because like everyone's like, "Oh, where do you get that?" I'm like, "Oh, I brought it." No. Yep.
Probably it might be best.
No, I was volunteering to fix that next time. That wasn't a criticism.
No, that's fine. I'm going to hand this back to you. Did you want to go through the reasonings why we picked the catering company, just for starters?
Well,
that might be a good background.
The catering company, which is called Pickled Pear, is actually university based. They're based at the university. They're based at the University Club, aren't they? Yep. I think. So they were recommended. They have done quite a number of catering jobs for us in state government. So do a really, really good job. Yeah. I thought.
They knew the venue, so they just went.
They literally drove up the hill with their little van, and that was it. So, yeah, that was the reason for Pickled Pear. We didn't get any bad comments about the food, like the quality of the food or the range of the food or that sort of stuff. It was just more logistics stuff, like labelling up the special dietary requirements and that sort of stuff, so people could actually find them. That's right.
Did you do any kind of an assessment of the uptake of certain foods? Like, for example, I was wondering mostly about the special orders. I noticed quite a few special orders during the day as I was making my rounds, having been left there. So I was just thinking about whether or not that was just normal attrition and the bulk of it was being used, and then value for making that offer.
I think actually that goes to the comment about labelling them, because some people didn't know that their food order was there.
Yep.
That's
Big sign
correct. So I tonight with the pizzas, I did give the pizza person the texter, and they put the names on the pizzas.
The person that didn't show up.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes. Just quietly.
The other
Kim.
question, Justin, you've been to a lot of conferences over the years. How do you think it compared with what you've had in the past, and were there any major discrepancies?
No. I and having just been to, sorry, I keep banging on about this, Exercise Aurora, they were full hot meals. And the food just kept coming. Yeah. Like, that's the other end of the spectrum. It's just, but that's the one in South Australia. It was held at the convention centre. It was absolutely fully catered, and they were, those breaks were networking breaks, and they were set up like that. So they were making sure people got together and they talked to each other. That's what that was about. So, anyway, any other comments about food, catering? No? Okay, moving on. So content and presentations. So, This is just to remind you, and the website's been updated with a whole lot of photos of each of these presenters and a bit of a summary and all of that sort of stuff. So if you want to see some of Lee's fantastic pictures, then please head to the website. Comments about, so Summarised Slido comments around the presentations. Diverse, engage. Why does it do that? I won't lean on it. Diverse, engaging presentations with interest in more hands-on or engineering-focused talks. So, okay, took that on board. Got lots of great comments about Tamitha and her presentation style. Really, really good. Some were criticised for being a bit slow and overly theoretical. So, okay, that was taken on board. And requests for live hardware demos and clear instructions for quiz participation. We'll come back to that in the quiz bit. So, any other comments about the presentations? Any one that you really stood out for anybody? We got lots of great comments about yours, about Murray's. Really? Absolutely loved it.
I would just like to say that the presentations aside, Rex takes the cake for the best question.
Has she answered back yet?
No.
She doesn't know the answer then?
No.
Good question then.
She does take a while to reply.
Okay.
Well, she said she was going to send it to her colleagues to... Yes, she said she was going to send it to her colleagues to get more information. I sent a more detailed description of everything, but I didn't even get a response saying... Oh, I did get the right email on, finally, because I got it off her slide.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested in the answer if I ever get it. Yeah.
And I don't think anyone wanted to ask another question after Rex's.
I was like, who's going after that?
Well, I mean, it sort of comes out of ham radio contributing potentially to science.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well and truly.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Presentations that stood out? That sort of thing? The mix, I'm interested in, did you find that we had a reasonable mix, not biased one way or another? Like too much of contesting, too much of something else?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty balanced.
Pretty good mix.
Yeah, I think it's a really good mix. Like, I'm reading them. You know, maybe some more engineering focused stuff. Yep, sure, whatever. But I wouldn't criticise what we had. I thought it was very good, and Hayden's done an amazing job of hunting down some wicked speakers to come on and do their stuff. So you know, yeah, no, I thought it was good.
Okay. Back to Lance.
It's probably more of a general principle, but other than if there's someone who's got specific knowledge, someone like Tamitha, it'd be good to have more local or domestic speakers if we could get them.
Okay.
Just think it'd be nice to be able to highlight what's going on in Australia by the locals.
Yep.
And it's a bit like the reason that we do like our presentations, trying to keep it local. I think it's so that you can refer or engage with people.
Yep.
But on a conference level, if we can sort of find more people that are Australia local, rather than too much video overseas.
Yep. Okay. Good. Focus on locals. It's good.
Australia local.
Well,
Was the phrase.
correct. And can I just say for those who weren't at the conference, there was an announcement made at the conference by the VK4s around they're running a microwave conference, I think similar to Gibbs Tech, so VHF and above, on the intervening years. So the next year it will be in Brisbane, 2026 it'll be back down here, and we alternate. So potentially there'll be some stuff come out of that. So yeah, Dave mentioned VK5KK with his 241 gig transceiver. Can I just say that is bleeding edge?
Yes, no fat.
Like the
expensive.
What's that also?
682 euros for the chip, and they're telling the manufacturers about how the chip works. So yeah, it's good. Any other comments around the presenters and the? No. Okay. Venue and logistics. Jim.
I was just going to say, as someone who's relatively new to amateur radio, I really enjoyed the spread of topics. Just the fact that there was not a speaker on every topic, but there was such a wide variety of topics. So there were people there speaking about things that I'd never actually given my thought to. And so I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So the fact that it wasn't all sort of focused in, one topical area, I actually enjoyed that spread of topics.
Okay, fantastic. Good. Another rabbit hole for you to head down.
Hopefully not more stuff for me to break.
Didn't say a thing. Okay. Venue and logistics. So, venue had some fantastic, good reception for the venue and audiovisual quality. Though some attendees found the seats somewhat uncomfortable with their knees up around their ears, I think was the comment. Not good for long-legged people for longer periods of time. So there were some suggestions around better signage, readable lanyards. So there was a comment around making the lanyards double-sided, so it didn't matter which way they were, you knew the person's name. Good comment. And amenities like foyer clocks for timing breaks. Yeah, okay. So, whoops. This is a really sensitive touchscreen. So yeah, venue and facilities. Any comments? Any other comments?
Awesome. Yeah. You couldn't get anything better.
Not in Hobart. I agree. Just phenomenal. And can I just do a shout out actually to Hayden, because Hayden was driving all the AV, and if it was left to, I think Tricky said it last night in the committee meeting, if it was left to myself and Tricky, you wouldn't have the same quality.
We wouldn't have anything. You look pretty busy.
A suggestion, and this is particularly for the people who are presenting over video, when we know the numbers, to sort of cordon off some seats so that we bunch everyone up together. I was very aware at one point the camera switched from what was on stage to sort of show the audience, and I think that might have been like the view that the presenters were seeing, and it just looked like there were 6 or 7 people in the seats because we were sort of spread out quite broadly. Yep. Whereas if we cordoned off some seat areas to encourage, mind you, I say that when a whole heap of people got COVID, so it's swings and roundabouts.
We did cordon off the sides.
Yeah, we could probably have cordoned off another bay as well.
The lecture theatre can hold like 250 people.
Yeah.
We had 80.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get everyone to.
And they did sort of spread out quite well. That was. Yep.
Is that your feed out live?
Yes.
It's not changing with your laptop, with your screen here that's still stuck.
It's frozen.
This one.
Okay.
My appreciation.
Okay. Hang on.
Probably might want to fix it before he gets you.
Oh, the Slido was. This one's not changing.
Oh, I see.
The live feed out.
So I've got my DMR hotspot. All I've got to do now is put the software on the operating system on the card and set it up and away it goes. Yes. And well, a dipole.
Oh, yeah. We can see.
Oh, no, sorry, not him.
If I actually had a square block of aluminium, say 15 mil by...
Okay. All right. I've just got Zave to, our fantastic camera operator out there, to zoom in on the screen. Any other comments around the venue? Improvements, if any? Absolutely love the throw round microphone. Love that.
The AV was on point.
That was
really
cool.
good.
That was cool.
Really good.
So I'm a bit interested as to why we didn't hear a thud every time somebody caught it.
Designed that way.
AGC.
No, it's a good.
I just how they do that?
It's a decent DSP.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the noise cancelling in the DSP is pretty good.
Okay. I know. Well, it does it really well. Really, really well. All right, we'll move on. So scheduling and program flow. So the flow of the conference. Again, I think we only had a couple of people that we sort of had to cut off, or at least let them know that it was the end of the time. Which, can I just say, in a conference with that many presenters, where we weren't that... the communication that went out to the presenters was a fair bit of it, and asking them to stay on time. Everybody did, which was off the show. It was just... I've been to conferences where people have gone on and they've had to actually yank them off the stage. So yeah, that was really good. So this was the feedback around the scheduling. So there was a couple of requests around more frequent breaks, shorter presentation segments. Now, I'm interested in some comments around that. 30 minutes was the actual shortest presentation segment, and the 3 keynotes were 40 minutes. And that includes questions. So what do people think of that?
How long was the shortest presentation?
30. It was 30 minutes, half an hour. Now, and we had blocks of 3, so it was an hour and a half. So, okay, that's all right. And the thing was, there was nothing against anybody getting up and stretching their legs or going up to the back of the theatre, or and I saw were people who did that. Okay. Yep.
I mean, I know you're talking about breaks and things like that, and that there was no problem with anybody getting up, but I found myself not drinking enough water.
Okay.
Because I was engaged and very interested in what was going on, and it might sound like a sort it out, Paul, kind of thing, but I couldn't drink water in the venue. I also understand why you can't, because those are the rules. So I don't know, maybe there isn't any way to get around that, or is there some method, maybe only bottled water or no cups, but nothing? Okay, fair enough. I just found myself forgetting to drink while I'm out there because I was doing other things. But that's just me and the things that I had to do.
Okay.
But that
So
was
not even bottled water, Hayden? Not even like contained? No?
The university policy is no food or drink,
Right.
and that's just the policy. The
No.
problem is that it becomes a problem in spaces because, as you can imagine, not necessarily with our audience, but students tend to become very careless and don't really care. And if they were allowed food or drink in, there'd be coffees and spills and all sorts, and nothing would be done or cleaned. The other thing too is that we didn't pay for a cleaning fee, so we ended up cleaning ourselves, which was a significant chunk of money. So that's another factor as well. So even though it is only water, bottled water, maybe, but that was just the policy.
I understand.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just a policy. You could be fine, but I don't know.
Camelbacks. Right?
Other logistical issues also come into play with it all as well.
Sure. No, I think so.
Would it be possible then, instead of the 3 segments per period, to go to 2 and have a short break between, like if you had 2, 2 and 2, afternoon teas in there somewhere, but then you have a bit of a gap in the middle for the situation you're talking about? And just tell everybody, look, this is a 10-minute break. It's really quick.
You got
if you
10
don't
minutes.
If you don't need to go out, don't go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well and truly, it's just how we want to structure it in future. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Okay. Social and networking aspects. So, this was a little bit about the breaks and the networking that went on in the breaks, and you can see the Alara group fortunately got together afterwards and took that fantastic shot, even with Zara in the front there. And then there was the forum and the quiz. So the Slido response feedback. Desire for an informal social event after the conference and a pre-session opportunity to network over drinks. Okay. We got some good feedback around the Great Reba Museum visit on Friday afternoon. That got some fantastic responses from the VK4s and VK5s and the others who were there. We actually got to see probably a bit more than what somebody from the general public would rock up and see, because we got to see the 14-metre dish and a few other things and the progress that's on that. So that was good. Lots of good comments. We did make a decision that we were not going to organise anything for the Saturday night and leave that up to people, which is what they did. A group went to the Ball and Chain.
There was a good reason behind that. So, for those that have been to Gips Tech, we had was that before Gips Tech where we had the big dinner with everyone?
No, on the Saturday night.
It was the Saturday night.
It's the Saturday night.
Yeah, that's in a pub in the middle of Morwell, which there was nobody else there. The problem is in Hobart.
No, the pub, it was the Friday night.
Friday night. And
What was the Saturday night?
The Morwell Club.
Oh, the club, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is in the middle of Hobart, trying to find and book for however amount of people you get. Say it's like 50 people. Good luck.
Our table was pretty busy too.
Our table was busy where we were, and I don't know anywhere where you could have that sort of amount of people without booking out the whole restaurant. So, it was just logistically, it was just too difficult to organise.
Yeah, unless
unfortunately.
you put on a dinner.
So that's why we had the social event on the Friday night here.
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
It's different to Morwell to Hobart.
Yeah, that's right.
I think too also that if I compare that to commercial conferences, they'll often have it in a venue that is a big hotel or a convention centre where you can then retire to the lobby, the bar, any number of bars or whatever to have something to eat, chat with whoever you want to catch up with. Whereas the venue is excellent, but it's not a hotel or a convention centre, so you've got to leave afterwards. So, but I think given what we're working with, I think it was excellent. Like, it was really good.
And I think a lot of people went off in their little subgroups anyway on a Saturday night and just went down into Salamanca and found a place to eat. So,
Cool. Okay. Some great comments around volunteers and interstate friendly setup. I gather from the comments this is very much around people having to come from accommodation, having to come from hotels and that sort of thing, and there being enough gap to do that, and knowing where things are, etc. So yeah, that was some good comments. Any other comments around the social networking sort of aspects of it? Anything we can potentially do better or add to it? I think the little pre-tour, as a la Great Reba this time, if we can come up with some other stuff, I think it's probably going to be taken up. Quite a few people came early and stayed late, so they didn't just do the weekend thing. So, yeah. Okay, all right. Online participation and accessibility was the other one. Now, I love that microphone, so these are all pictures of that microphone, apart from the raffle. Some great picture up here of Ken and Margaret enjoying themselves, two of our three from New Zealand. So that was good. Online, now there was some online comments. Appreciation for the option to attend online with quality YouTube presentations. There were some comments around potentially switching. Now, what was the comment? It was switching to their face instead of the presentation view. Every so often, having the presenter. That was one of the comments. Okay.
Was it up in the corner the whole time?
Yeah, it was up in the corner the whole time. But that was the reason for the comment. They just wanted them on the big screen. But yeah, okay. More interactive elements and the ability to purchase raffle tickets for those that were streaming viewers. Not sure that's going to happen.
No, there's a problem with the Tasmanian raffle rules with that.
Correct. So we've got we're a bit hamstrung there. So any other was anyone here who watched it online? What was your experience? If you don't mind.
I thought it was good, but I acknowledge that comment about the presenters being small.
Yep.
It was tiny in the screen, so it was a bit difficult to see faces while they were talking when you would get that big wide
You watch
view.
on YouTube?
Yes, I watched on YouTube.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Because on Zoom you could pick whatever you wanted to look at.
The view you wanted.
But YouTube's Zoom streams out to YouTube, and it basically just shows whatever you've got. Whatever's being put out. So, yeah.
No,
And the other issue too is, so the way that the room is configured, the room shows what is going out to Zoom on the screen. So if we had have switched to the presenter full screen, that would then appear up on the screen locally in the room as well. So then you take the presentation away from the in-room as well as online. So it's a bit of a balance, I suppose. And most of the information is being shown on the screen anyway. So.
Yep.
And because I was there on the Saturday, not on the Sunday,
Yep.
and I was volunteering and I was out on the front door pretty much the whole day of Saturday, I appreciated the big screens out in the foyer that were showing the presentation.
Cool.
As a volunteer, I appreciated that.
And audio out there was okay?
Audio was great. Yeah, it was 100%. Yeah.
Great.
Spot on.
Great audio. Audio's
Yeah,
great. That
audio was good.
You should have seen what it was like before we did the upgrades. Terrible.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. Other improvements. So these are the more general comments. Open it up. Any other comments? And I acknowledge here I've pinched Paris's last slide. So yes.
I've got the microphone, so I'll go then. Selling the raffle tickets, on the first morning at least, it was just flat out with people coming in as you expect.
Yep.
And we ended up splitting, and so one table was doing raffle tickets, the other table was doing greeting and handing out the lanyards.
Okay.
But the raffle tickets got a bit, from my perspective anyway, it got hectic.
Yeah,
Trying to write the call sign out on everyone.
Yep.
So you might notice I started abbreviated it to just 7OD instead of, I was getting quick with it.
Okay.
So if we had another 2 people just doing raffle tickets, not
Yep.
doing the greeting, and 2 people. I don't know if you've got enough volunteers, but
Yeah,
just a
we just need to
suggestion.
find the other iPad.
Yeah. And another comment on the food. The people that did it, they did it. I was cleaning up after people had gone back in.
Yep.
I was running around cleaning up, and then at one point I got talking and I looked around and that arrived and they were doing all the cleaning, so I left it to them after that.
Well and truly,
Yeah.
they were great.
Yeah.
They came in, they put everything together, they picked everything up off the floor, all sorts of things. So I was really impressed. So yeah. Cool. Any other comments? Paul?
I don't want to be nitpicky on anything, but it seemed like there was a fair bit of waste towards the end, food waste. So maybe, I mean, I don't know if it's even possible. It's a tough thing, isn't it? You don't want to you don't want to run out. That's for sure.
This was the comment about the undersupply, oversupply.
Oh, fair enough.
Because on the Sunday
Yeah.
there appeared to be quite a bit of food left over.
Yeah.
And okay.
I mean, I'm not being critical. It's just
No.
it's just you look at it and you kind of go, oh.
And unfortunately, that's a catering thing.
Yeah. So yeah.
We
But
get
I'm guessing you catered for the same amount of people each day, so
well and true.
clearly people just ate more on the Saturday.
Or left early on Sunday.
Oh, correct.
They just probably left without eating.
And some had to fly out and all sorts of stuff. So that's why we finished up on the lunchtime.
Is there any kind of community donation, or do the caterers take care of that? Or, I mean, to think
Excellent
of that,
question. I don't know.
that maybe the food isn't just binned. Look, I'm not
No, I don't know.
weird about this. It's just that I saw it. And I saw him carting it off, and it was like, holy cow, that's a lot of food.
I don't know whether the staff end up with food for the next 3 days. No, I don't. Because there's also a food safety thing there.
Sure,
that they've got to-
admittedly, yeah.
So, and talking about safety, I'm going to be up front here. We had about 12 people who ended up with COVID out of the conference. Where they got it, I don't know, because we tried to sort of triangulate where people were at particular times for the particular groups that got it, and there's not really one place. So,
And they were vaccinated?
sorry?
The people who got it, were they vaccinated?
I don't know.
No.
Not a question I asked.
No.
So, but okay, we had, over 80 people from all over Australia and New Zealand in one place. You're going to have something circulating. And unfortunately, right at the moment, there is a bit of a wave going through the community right at the moment. So I know we've got a whole lot of people off at work and they've all come in. And the interesting thing is, they are people who have never had COVID who've got it this time. And I'm one of them. I got COVID after the weekend and I've never had COVID.
Welcome to the club.
So I now have had COVID.
Wait till you get it the second time.
Does that mean
Great.
you can change the club name to Reast and COVID Club?
So yeah, and we did put out that to the volunteers and a few others that there was COVID circulating, and please, if you don't feel well, go through the protocol, etc.
So were the people who were suffering from COVID after the event, were they all from one area or were they
No.
just a mix?
They were from all states.
Yeah, okay.
That was. We had a bunch in VK4, we had a bunch in VK5, we had a bunch in VK3, and we had a bunch in VK7.
They must have all got to Melbourne.
So,
BK7
On
was first, I
aeroplanes?
think.
and we sort of went, okay, was it the barbecue? Was it the conference? Was it the drinks on Saturday afternoon?
Was it the Wednesday night beforehand?
Was it Wednesday night beforehand? Who knows? Honestly.
Exam day. The Saturday before. Yeah.
So yeah, that was okay. We've got through that.
The thing is,
I was talking to one of the guys, Lee, VK3GK, and he's been to Tokyo Ham Fair this year. He's been to Hamvention. I think he went on another overseas holiday. I think this year I went to Melbourne, to the MCG. I've been to all these places, fine. Then we have our conference, and then all of a sudden, you got all the... And not heard anyone who got COVID out of any of that, and then our conference, and then all of a sudden it just pops up. And it's kind of like, what do you do?
Luck of the draw.
I tend to think that's just because you knew more of the people, and I don't think it didn't happen at those other things.
More handshaking and more...
No, but you just didn't get the feedback from those others because you didn't know them. So, you know, 30 people got from, some event you went to, and it's like, but you didn't know them, so you didn't get any feedback because you're the organiser here, so you got to hear about it all. I think that's probably just a statistical thing. I don't think it's any worse than anything else.
And being the conference organisers, you get the feedback. They email you and just say, oh, by the way, I've got COVID.
On the same vein, the EME conference in the States, a very significant number, I don't know how many, people got COVID. And the EMEs all know each other. And
well and truly.
So it's probably something to do with that.
And you're in, like, 50%, there were about 50% from VK7 and 50% from not VK7. The 50% from not VK7 all came here. Most of them flew in. So you're in a plane with how many other people on various flights, etc., etc. So who knows? Honestly, who knows?
Yeah.
Yep. Luck of the draw.
VK5's top and tail. You never know what's going on there. They're probably watching. Only joking to those boys.
There was some other feedback, just some final feedback here. Small adjustments. There was some feedback around the quizzes. I think it was more around people not being able to read their phones because it's quite small print. And so that was, and not being used, if you're not used to using Kahoot or those sort of tools, okay, it takes a little while to get used to it. Acknowledging volunteers. Now, I do take this criticism fairly close to heart. We didn't actually acknowledge volunteers at the end of the conference, and that was a mistake. So really sorry about that. We finished up with the raffle and then the food, and we didn't actually acknowledge volunteers, which was a definite mistake. So yeah, which I'm glad was picked up in the feedback. Dual-sided lanyards, we've covered that, and closer attention to audio clarity and volume. I'm not quite sure where those comments have come from, because I think
the venue also has hearing assistance as well.
So it's got a hearing loop.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if anyone actually
did
switched
the
that on,
T setting. So yeah, actually good point. That's something to point
To
out.
announce that.
To announce it. Well,
there is signage. But
Okay. So, any final comments? While we wrap up?
Support the lanyard comment. They just seem to sit the wrong side.
Oh, Murphy's Law. It's just, and you can see how many raffle tickets people had.
what was it like being an organiser? I know what it was like, but I want to know what you thought what it was like.
I think it came together, in the end it came together really well. There were a few moments where we had some presenters that sort of either pulled out or didn't come forward, and sort of, that was a bit nerve-wracking. But other than that, no, I think it flowed. I think it was really good. And we had some great support from the committee and the volunteers. That's really good. So, and outstanding venue. Just, and so many comments about the venue.
Well, while the microphone's going down to Paul, I'm just going to steal this one.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd just like to say, Hayden, really appreciate the work you particularly put in, because I know while all the volunteers put stuff in, it was your contacts that got all. I'm assuming it was your contacts that got all the raffle prizes and all the, all that sort of stuff. So like,
Not all of them, but yeah.
from somebody who was away for the whole organising thing and only arrived back in Tassie like 3 days before. Thanks very much. That was awesome.
Hear, hear.
And just acknowledge that it probably wouldn't have happened on that level without you. So, thank you.
I was just going to say about the venue. How available will that be into the future? Is it a bit of a question mark on that, or should I not have asked that question?
Is this going into the news the other day about the whole Sandy Bay campus, 4 campuses for Hobart question?
Wow.
So there has. So I don't know actually how much I can actually divulge internal information that I do know about the venue. However, with the campuses that they announced the other day, with a Hobart camp, three Hobart campuses, Sandy Bay campus, and then IMAS. There is some talk about what our premier lecture theatre is going to look like and where it's going to be. At the moment, it's still in Sandy Bay. At the moment it's still the Stanley Burberry Lecture Theatre, and we still have a need because we still have public events, like our events, one of many events that we host there, because the only other real alternative for that size, or anyone really over like 100, is Rest Point. And then you're getting towards the thousands, depending on where you use it. So we actually become quite a heavy thing used by the community. So we had at the same time the Derwent Symphony Orchestra. There was a booking issue, and they thought they'd booked it, but they actually hadn't on the same weekend as us. And they use it because the venue's good for setting up instruments and the audio and everything like that. So there's going to have to be something that continues to go forward. So at the moment, 2026, which is when our next scheduled one is, I don't see that there'll be any change between now and then. However, that said, we do have other venues available on the Sandy Bay campus that will remain. So, for instance, Law is remaining on Sandy Bay, and the Law Lecture Theatre is about 130. The space is a lot more cosier than Stanley Burberry. There's no foyer and things like that, so it would be
COVID friendly.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as good. But for instance, if we didn't have that venue, then we would still have a backup. It just wouldn't be as good.
The attraction to TasUni is the price. The attraction to TasUni is the price, or one of the attractions, because
That's great.
Right? Because I was thinking if it dries up, there are other places, but the one thing that pops to my mind was the Friends School theater, but I'm sure they'd charge for that. So.
And any other venue will
Yes,
be charging.
yes.
And that will be reflected into the ticket price. So,
The other thing too with the uni site is that it's easy for people to find and to navigate, and it's got on-site parking,
and parking.
which is it's a very, very convenient site, and it's a really good venue.
Love it.
And not only that too, like you've got.
Microphone, Harry. No.
Yeah, throw
Another major draw card to having it at the UTAS is there's uni bus routes even on the weekend as well. So people who may not be able to drive can still get up there by other forms of transport. So it just makes sense to have it up there as well. And plus, if you don't want to catch that, Uber's not that expensive either. Go from the city to Sandy Bay. So there's definitely it's definitely an open passage and easy for everyone to get access to, which is really good. Just a quick comment as well in regards to feedback. After the conference, I spoke to about, I think, 2 or 3 operators that came to the conference on the repeater, and they said that they absolutely enjoyed it. They had a ball, and they look forward to the next one as well. So well done to everyone, they said, that went, which I just thought I'd pass that on as well.
Cool. Okay. Any other comments? We'll wrap it up at that. Oh no, Murray.
One last final word. I really enjoyed the Red Dog or Mad Dog coil stand at the front, and I don't know whether there was deliberately not many vendors there or what the go was, but that if there'd been more people there to buy stuff off, that would have been cool. But like, not a deal breaker at all.
You mentioned the wall.
So
Sorry.
no, it's fine. So the 2022 expo that we did, and this was one of the things that we discussed what we were going to do this year. We dropped the expo portion of it, which would have had vendors and all that sort of thing and people there, because no one wanted to come. And like and we're not the only ones here. All over the mainland and stuff, they're struggling to get people, and then people will commit and say, yeah, we're coming, and then they just don't show up. And it's like, well, Strictly Ham retiring, doesn't care. Andrews doesn't care. DXing, let's not talk about him. Who else? There's a couple of others. I think there's a guy in Queensland, but that's a long way for him to come down.
Long way.
Yeah, from WA, a long way. So it's kind of like, by the time you get through all of these guys, and then you're sort of not really left with anything. And then, we kind of had like a bit of a second-hand sale thing last time out in the main foyer. But it's like we could do that at a boot sale. So, we kind of decided that, and that a lot of people didn't come for that reason, which is fair enough. But yeah, it was just, it's just logistically too hard, especially in Tasmania. Like if this was in Victoria, we'd probably have no problems at all.
No, I wasn't suggesting that we went to like we did last time. I just enjoyed having some vendors in there.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I'd love it too, but we need the support from them, and that's the problem. We just don't have the support from them at all. But Marty, the reason why Marty came along was because he was doing a talk anyway, and he said, "Oh, I've got," he knew a lot of the parks guys, and he's like, "Can I bring my stuff down?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he brought a 23 kilo luggage worth of stuff, and he sold it all within like Saturday afternoon. He didn't have anything left, and he was wrapped with that. So, yeah. And his was also the reason why we got him to bring that was because he came up with that product, and that was like a innovative thing that he'd made. Found a gap, and he sold them all over the world. So,
and can I just say, Ben's been using his for the last couple of nights, so out in beaches and bits and pieces. So, yeah.
Said he made Italy on 5 watts.
There you go.
Yeah, very good.
Love it.
He said he made Italy on 5 watts.
So he made Italy on 5 watts then, Paul.
He did.
Cool. Okay. If there's no more comments, thank you very much. Please take some pizza home with you for lunch tomorrow. And we'll put this all together into a package. We do a report on how it went, the finances, the feedback, etc., and put that together so we capture everything for next time. And we actually use the last one's feedback for this one. So yeah, continuous improvement.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a coffee.
And thanks to you for the effort you put in.
Yeah, thank you, Henry, and Justice.
Eat pizza. Cool. Cheers.
Meeting soon, meetings later.
No, it's very good.
I think that's probably the way.